switch to push to talk for right away. And I'm hearing that we have some technical difficulties on the streams. So I don't know. All right. So this is the joy of live everything, folks. We're getting going right now. So this is the voice of Aggro. I don't know if you know this, or maybe you have recently heard this, but I'm the founder of Splinterlands, or one of the two. And I'm the CEO. I handle a lot of the sales and marketing stuff around here. I do a lot of the community development, do a lot of partnerships, and kind of lead up the business development team here. And I'm joined by a couple members of the team. Now, if you are listening live, you might already know who these folks are, but try not to ruin the surprise for all the live audience, or for the new stream audience. So joining us at first here is going to be Weirdbeard. Weirdbeard, could you please introduce yourself?
What's up? My name's Weirdbeard. Nobody's ever met me here, and I like to party, I guess, is what we're gonna stick with. I do esports and tournaments, so let's have a good time.
Awesome. All right, and then I'm joined by the one, the only Nate. Nate, could you give us a little intro on who you are, what you do, and just kind of set the mood, set the tone for today?
Oh, I'm gonna set the mood. Okay. All right, people. This is Sexy Nate on the air, creative director for Splinterlands. We're gonna have a good time.
Oh yeah, this is gonna go into the HR files pretty soon. I can tell. All right, now joining us again is our buddy here, Chatter, our roguelike friend, the tallest man in the studio with us today. Chatter, do you want to give us a quick introduction?
Yeah, for sure. Director of marketing here over at Splinterlands. For those who don't know, I am 70% legs and 30% torso. But other than that, I don't know if I can match the sexy Nate energy, but I'll try my best.
I'm not sure that any of us are going to be able to match that. But maybe the worst segue ever. Maybe the folks at Community Gaming, maybe the folks over at Balthazar, they're going to be able to do it. We have a couple guests today, so that's a very bizarre segue to them. Sorry about that. But that's Nate set the tone for the show, and that's what we're going with apparently. So it's and I guess I should also say we're blessed to go have a friend of the show, a star amongst us, the one, the only Bulldog. Bulldog, do you want to give a quick hello and tell us what you do here?
Yeah, hello. Is my mic working better now?
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Okay, sorry, jumping on here last second. But yeah, so I'm Bulldog. I'm the community manager here now. So those of you who are in Discord, I am kind of helping lead up the mod team on Discord, on other social media places like Reddit, that type of thing. And just kind of helping being a bridge between the dev team and the community, and helping making this community awesome.
All right, yeah, awesome. Glad to have you here. Okay, so when we do have guests, I do like to go bring them up front and let them go on with their day. They don't necessarily need to be here for every little part of this. So I think that what we're going to do is start with the community gaming piece. So maybe MLGAnakin and Lady Marionette, you guys can go introduce yourselves and just kind of tell us about your project.
Awesome. Thank you. I am Skylar. I am the head of marketing and founding member of Community Gaming. Community Gaming is an all-in-one esports platform that offers really efficient blockchain payment tech, meaning you can pay out whether it's your top 4 or top 100 in a single click. We're also working on API integration with games, so your tournaments can truly be automated, so no more score reporting, no more waiting. Our platform works hard to empower players and organizers with tools that they need to create and participate in tournaments. We even offer grassroots prize pool support. We have a few larger projects in the works that will further our belief in earnings for everyone, so be on the lookout for updates. And here's Brandon to talk to you about our upcoming Splinterlands tournament.
Yes, hello. Everybody, I am Brandon, or MLGAnakin. I'm the only Canadian so far on the community gaming team. I handle competitive operations, partnership fulfillment. I create tournaments and formats and rule sets that make sense. this upcoming weekend on Saturday and Sunday, we have kind of our first Splinterlands warm-up tournament. It'll be $10,000 in SPS, the Splinterlands shards. And yeah, this first tournament is going to be open for Diamond Plus players. So people in Champions Division, and then once those people are in, then we'll open it up to Diamond Plus, and then we have lots of plans in the future to do both open tournament for everybody from novice to gold to the higher in Diamond and Champion as well. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit about me and the weekend, and yeah.
So what? So why don't you guys tell us about like a little bit of the history of the company? So I get that it's for tournament running. Like, what are some of the other games that we might see on there? What are some of the what are some of like the biggest successes that you guys have had, or largest pools, or what does this stuff look like? Tell us about the business and kind of how it's rocking.
Yeah, for sure. So we do not limit what games we support and host tournaments for. So everything from Axie, Skywaver, Splinterlands. We have a few games that are in alpha that we're going to help them kind of test their esports. Just how they're going to run tournaments and if it will work with their game. I would say one of our largest tournaments was we had a Riot partnership as well as a $25,000 Valorant event. Not so crypto friendly, so we do straddle the line between mainstream esports and supporting the ever-growing blockchain esports scene.
And how do you see those two playing together? Is traditional gaming a fan of us? Do they hate our faces? Are they ambivalent? Are they excited? Are they envious? What emotional experience do you get from gaming platforms that are not in the play to earn space as you kind of navigate both areas?
Great question. So it truly depends on the game demographic. Like first-person shooters, I've noticed, are way more hesitant than TCG players because TCG players already understand the mechanisms behind blockchain gaming. They've already been doing it, playing, Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone. It's very similar to, have them come over to the blockchain side of things, and they are typically very excited about it. But you get to the MOBA players, the FPS players, they're way more hesitant. They take a lot more education and kind of dipping their toes in rather than just throwing them into the deep end.
Do you have any thoughts on why? Like, what about those genres? Is it some demographic of the player base, or do you think it's something about the player experience? What makes them so hesitant?
I have to say recently it's the negative hype, like around NFTs. And they like follow Riot to the ends of the earth. So Riot says they don't like crypto, and then they agree they don't like crypto and don't want to give it a chance. They don't understand the use case. They just see, NFTs and apes kind of thrown in their face rather than everything that can be done with them and everything that Web3 can offer.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, I'm personally of the opinion that we are currently witnessing the largest transfer of wealth in the history of the world. And if they're following advice of like NFTs are bad and crypto is bad from like a single gaming company, that could be devastating to quite a number of people. Bitcoin is crazy, so it could go up tomorrow, it could go down tomorrow. Who knows? I'm just sharing. That's not meant to be financial advice as much as it's meant to be. This is my personal journey, my personal thought on this. This is the most powerful technology that exists in the world right now, especially for spreading peace, prosperity, and freedom. And that seems like a really limited viewpoint for one company to have on crypto. I'm just kind of a little taken aback because I'm thinking about all those people that are going to go off of that advice and not experience it or start with a bad impression and miss out on a variety of like really wonderful projects and tokens that might actually go quite high in value and how much of that experience their player base is going to miss because of that advice.
I totally agree on that. A way we've tried to kind of change their minds is like having split prize pools. So we'll offer USD pricing with USDC and like introduce them to a stable coin and then slowly move it over to something maybe a little bit more volatile We also have an education series coming up for a lot of these teams to try to show them, the wide variety of use cases. It's not just about selling art. There's so much more to it. And so it could truly empower players in video games and try to get them to understand that.
Well, my whole thought with this whole Splinterlands thing is that like digital asset ownership in games is a giant change in terms of how the player base is able to go benefit from this experience. That if they own assets, they are able to go experience financial success in the game if that game is successful. And when I look at games that are like the Web 2.0 games, they're really good at extracting value and extracting time from players, but they don't often give a lot back. And my quintessential experience is with Hearthstone, where I spent a couple $100 buying cards. And then later on, I'm like, well, this game isn't really fun. I'm going to quit. And then there was nothing for me to sell. And like, I didn't want to sell my Blizzard account because I use it for StarCraft and a couple other things. So here's just this like this dead value that I'll never recover. I don't think I'm ever going to play that game again. I got into the top 5% and ultimately said, I think that's dumb, and I don't like the mechanic of just trying to figure out which team can pop their special move first. That didn't feel good to me, and so I think I'm done. And I feel like if everybody's experience is that the corporation will take your money, get you to play for a long time, and then when you're done, you leave with nothing. That's a bad experience. I don't understand why people will keep doing that.
Me neither. And I'm hoping the more streamlined Web3 gets, more users will move over to it. Like our goal is to offer as close to a Web2 experience so users just gravitate towards it. It truly feels seamless. And they don't even realize, they're using blockchain technology. It's just an understanding that you own part of this, like whether it's trophies or automated prize pools or assets in the game.
So some of the games you said were pretty open to it. Are there any of the Web 2.0 games that you would point to be like, hey, these guys seem to be innovators in the space?
It's been really difficult to find games that will allow crypto pricing for esports. You have to go through an extremely difficult approval process. So the biggest one was Counter-Strike, but Counter-Strike in esports isn't doing so hot, at least in North America. So it's just been a slow moving process to get approval for crypto pricing on the mainstream side of things.
For like the crypto companies, they're just like, high five, let's do this, and it takes 2 seconds and you're done.
Yes. Yeah, and then especially once they get to a point where they can integrate their API with our site, like players can host truly automated tournaments, and it removes almost all of the work. So it's why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, I mean, just for the folks that don't know, we've been working with community gaming for a while. They're actually the very first like asynchronous, or I guess the synchronous tournaments that we did. Before we even had like an in-game tournament system, we started working with a company called Challenge, which I think is kind of a competitor to you guys. And we ran a bunch of tournaments with them. And then I think you guys got wind of what we were doing and reached out to us. And then we've run, I don't know, probably 5 or so tournaments. I'm not exactly sure how many, but we've run a bunch of tournaments with you guys going back at least a year. So, my players here that I've listened to and the employees that have helped run it all have good things to say about the team, about the project, about what you guys are doing. I'm excited to go see a $10,000 tournament creep in, and that all sounds pretty awesome.
Same, and thank you guys for choosing us for that. We're really excited to host it and excited for the weekend.
Yeah. Any advice to any of the players, or anything that you would want to leave our guys with?
Brandon, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, in terms of, advice or anything like that, just know that there's going to be more tournaments. Like I said, this one is mostly for like Diamond Plus players, so Diamond League and Champion League. But in the future, we have plans to do all sorts of individual tournaments and leagues and things like that, and just kind of support the grassroots program as well as the people at the top of the esports pyramid, to up the prize pool, up the tournaments, and kind of up the engagement on the game. So like you mentioned, Agrid, I actually come from a Hearthstone background, so I probably sunk $500 at least into the game, at least if not more, and then when I stop playing, it would be nice to recover some of that, or maybe recover some of that or all of that, or maybe even go up or whatever. So yeah, excited for Splinterlands, and the whole I can see 2022 being the year of crypto gaming and stuff. A lot of good games coming out in different genres and stuff, and certainly we have Splinterlands leading the way in the sort of TCG category. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, folks, go check out Community Gaming, and pay attention to their site. Maybe that you can tell them where to find you or how to get in touch. Because if there's more tournaments that are coming, we should go be paying attention, and players should be looking at ways to earn through Community Gaming.
Sure. You can follow us on Twitter, just the handle @communitygaming, or our website, communitygaming.io. Feel free to DM me on Discord, or Brandon, MLGAnakin, if you have any other questions.
And make sure to enter into the tournament that's coming up this weekend, the
Yes.
Splinterlands Summoners Invitational. We just put the link in the Discord there. It's also in the tournaments channel. It's top 128 players. It's going to be pretty badass. So
awesome. All right, let's go bring on NicoThePico, and thanks for coming on Community Gaming, folks. Really exciting times, and I'm excited to see some of our esports here growing and getting more platforms and more places where folks can find our game, find us, and earn some sweet prizes. All right, Nico, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you here. Do you want to give us a quick introduction of who you are, what you do, and what you're representing?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Nicholas, or NicoThePico. I live in the very far north of Norway. I've been a professional level head coach for top European League of Legends teams for the last 6 years. Teams such as Fnatic, Ninjas in Pajamas, Origin. I still work with professional level League of Legends players as a side gig doing freelance coaching. I joined Balthazar, which is an NFT gaming platform, about half a year ago as their chief gaming officer. And yeah, so we help promote growth in all sorts of GameFi games. And we want to provide like a very positive platform for the GameFi space where native or non-native players or investors can very easily access GameFi, all different sort of games, get information. We want to be thought leaders. I've been leading the research reports that we've been producing, which you may or may not have seen with the Splinterlands report very recently, which was like 15 pages long. And yeah, I'm here today to do a quick tease about the big event that's happening tomorrow with Bulldog.
All right. Well, I want to get there, but we're going to tease it out just a second longer. Can you sum up some of what you were saying in the 15-page report? Like, what's your summary? Have you been playing a lot of Splinterlands personally? What's your thoughts on this as a professional esports guy for a long time?
Yeah, so that's interesting. I first had my hands on Splinterlands about half a year ago. It was actually one of the initial games that I started researching on behalf of Balthazar. And I was sort of getting an overview over the entire GameFi space and all available games. And I playtested a bunch of them. Splinterlands was the first GameFi game that I played, which I actually had a good experience with and I actually found engaging. So that was my first impression coming in on the game.
Nice.
Which was huge, and also because of that experience, I very rapidly changed priorities within Balthazar for us to heavily start exploring Splinterlands. So we both started figuring out how we could work together and partner with Splinterlands, and what sort of value can we bring to the space? Like what's the long-term opportunity here? And then the 15-page report came out, and sort of the research reports that we do and we will continue doing on games and blockchains They're supposed to be like a complete look on the game, both in terms of gameplay, both in terms of the team, both in terms of white paper, roadmap, like speculations for the future. How will Splinterlands deal with another bear market if it happens? Well, our conclusion is that it's probably going to be fine because you already survived many rounds of the market, and that like the advantage that Splinterlands has, and what has been conveyed in the 15-page article as well, is that regardless of how the economy has gone and the price actions of the tokens, Splinterlands is one out of the few games in the space which has continually had growth on users and actually have a loyal player base which is growing. And I can testament to that as a player. I've played in all different rankings outside of champion. I never got to champion myself, but
haven't got to champion yet.
Yes, next week probably. But my experience across all the different rankings and just the initial impression is honestly very good. It's a game that I actually enjoy spending time on and look forward to playing when I'm going to play. And I feel like there's a lot of intricacies. And then also, as we go into in the 15-page report, looking into the future of what's going to come in with consumables and with lands and just extra additions to the existing gameplay is something that makes us hyped for the future and hyped for possibilities of what we can do in the future. So you're very likely to see more of me doing these sort of collaborations.
Nico, you're welcome on here whenever you want, whenever you have stuff to talk about. I'd love to have you here. And if, I'd love to help get some of these other fantastic streamers talking about us, an esports team. I'm sure that, talking to Weirdbeard and Shattered, you guys can set up some nice partnerships with the network that you have. All that sounds wonderful. But that's all external to you. So, or like what you're doing right now. So I've teased this out enough for my own level of patience. Why don't you tell us what you're doing? This thing is pretty exciting, and tell us what the I guess there's some packs that we got to talk about, and then I want to know what your plan is for those packs. What's your goal? What are you guys going to do, and how do you think about the money that was spent on packs? What does that mean to you, and where do you want to take it?
Yeah. So tomorrow, I'm co-hosting a stream together with Bulldog. We're trying to bring the 2-hour sexy Nate energy onto the stream. That's the aim. We might not make it, but it's gonna be
Nice.
I believe
Good
an
reference.
insanely hyped event where me and Bulldog will be discussing the game and going through the motions for 2 hours. What we're doing is through a partnership and a collaboration that we have with Side Door Ventures, we've gotten our hands on $1 million worth of Chaos Legion packs. So me and Bulldog, we're doing the initial opening of the packs. How many packs that we can fit in for 2 hours, I'm not really sure how many it's going to be. It's really going to depend on how many good points Bulldog is going to bring out and how many questions he's able to answer that we're going to be discussing. So, but yeah, we're opening. I assume it's going to be the biggest opening event of all time in Splinterlands with $1 million worth of Chaos Legion packs.
I'm going to go with
stream.
Biggest all time yet.
Yeah.
Until
we do the next one. But yeah, it's going to be directly on the Splinterlands channel. On Twitch is also going to be on YouTube, I believe, both on Splinterlands channel and on Bulldog's channel. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bulldog. And yeah, I hope to see as many of you as possible there. We're opening a bunch of packs. We're giving away 3,000 scholarships based on these cards. So a part of our NFT gaming platform is also a guild. in that guild, we have a huge backlog of players who want to become scholars and want to start earning money through gaming. And a part of what we're doing on our platform is incentivizing players or investors who have assets in their games to get utilizations of their assets through lending the assets to Balthazar, and we will connect those assets with scholars, and then you can start earning yield on your assets, which otherwise would have stood still. So in total, yeah.
I like it. How do you expect to go about recruiting all of these scholars? What's the plan to bring these folks in?
Yeah. So the idea right now is based on the amount of cards that we're opening with $1 million assets. We expect that we end up with something like 3,000 to 5,000 potential scholars. We're also going to give away some higher ranked scholarships, 5 Gold 1 scholarships. We're aiming at a slightly lower rank for the base scholars, and sort of the plan for us is that we have a long-term faith in Splinterlands, and we want we look at ourselves sort of as a partner for Splinterlands in the long run, and we want to be a part of the journey. And I'm very likely to be working together with Weirdbeard on some esports stuff and tournaments, and you'll likely see more of me on that part. So we're in Splinterlands for the long term, and we're going into this game now and trying to recruit a bunch of scholars and a bunch of players to get familiar with the game, because we believe in the long-term sustainability of the game. In addition to the cards that the players will get to be scholars, we're also doing a long-term incentive for any scholar that joins us. So Balthazar is right now in our private round race, and we're going into IDO very soon on Copper Launch. And any scholar that joins us will get $100 value of the Balthazar token upon launch, which they will unlock after 12 months of being a scholar with us. So we're trying to give a longer term incentive for the scholars as well, in addition to what they're already going to be earning through playing the game. And we have huge hopes and ambitions for what we can bring to the table, and participation in tournaments and community events. And yeah, we have a lot of people in our Discords and in our communities who's itching to get their hands on Splinterlands.
That's awesome. So what can Splinterlands do to help and enable you more? What do you guys need? What support do you want, and how can we help? This is a great mission and a great project. What can we do? What I'm the CEO. I can influence some of the ways that we operate here. How can I make your life better?
Yeah. So I think that's sort of like a ongoing dialogue that we will have, and also that I will have together with Weirdbeard. Like, we have a lot of thoughts and ideas on how we could create community hype on our side, and also for the larger platforms and other guilds that we expect are going to be following up on what we're doing here. And yeah, I think one of the main things to do is just keep up the epic marketing and the announcements. I was floored by the Waka announcements myself. I didn't see that one coming, and we were lucky enough to get it in on the 15-page report that we made. It just happened as we were writing it, so that was super cool. And yeah, we're here to be a part of the journey, and I hope the stream tomorrow is going to be a testament to that. And I also want the stream tomorrow to be worthwhile for existing players. Like, even if you don't win anything, like, I'm intending to have a bunch of conversations with Bulldog and discussing meta, tips and tricks for different rankings, like future speculations. I'm aiming it to be a blast and to bring the Sexy Nade energy at a high level.
Nice. Nice.
Oh yeah.
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 The smooth sounds of Nate will be coming up shortly. Yeah, guys, I'm stoked. It's wonderful to have you here. It's great that Side Door Adventures has been supporting our company, like not quite from the beginning, but not that they've been here for I think over a year, maybe 2 now. They're fantastic, and Nico, I'm really excited to work with you. Personally, I just have to selfishly report that I love, though I am terrible at playing DJ Sona. It is one of my great joys in life to run around and simply troll bot lane and that folks with her musical chords.
Maybe we do a league coaching stream at some point. That would be fun.
I'd like to, but I think I would be rather embarrassed. I mean, you're gonna be like, used to all these professional players, and I'm like king of wood. Like if there's a wood ranking, I'm like the best at it. But I would be.
I think it would be an epic stream, honestly.
Okay.
I think it would be an epic stream. It would be fun.
I'd be happy to do it. So if you want to, if at any point you want, some Splinterlands old fart to go hang out with the youngins over there that play them free to play games, I'd be happy to go do it. It'd be and honestly, if you could give me some tips of like, dude, you're way too aggressive, or why'd you do that? That was ridiculous. Or even why do you choose Sona? Because I'm not even sure that she's the best character, but I just rather enjoy. She's just really good at constantly, like literally the entire time, harassing the other team, and so I find that fun.
Yeah. Now, I honestly like. I just think future collaboration possibilities here, and I also think like for Splinterlands, this sort of cross game promotion can be so huge, and it's also going to be huge for future tournaments and stuff. I already spoke a bit with Weirdbird about this, but these sort of events I think are so healthy for the ecosystem as a whole. And I know you talked with Lady Marionette and MLGAnakin before about like bringing in esports and giving validity to NFTs, and I think the more events you do and the more word of mouth spreads and the more it becomes natural, it's just going to flow naturally, and we can create that through having good community events and having fun sort of streams and this sort of stuff. And I think it's a huge opportunity, and we should definitely get that going.
No, I'm game. I mean, I will be embarrassed, but I will be a good sport about it. So happy to do that. Happy to take coaching. I'm humble in the things that I don't know, and I'm very well aware I am not a terribly good LoL player. But and I'll try not to flame everybody as I lose. Like I like won't just sit there and blame it on everybody else. I will try to internalize my own personal failures as a gamer. But yeah, you guys are hearing a little bit about the things that I've enjoyed: League of Legends, StarCraft. I definitely played my share of World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, and previously the Magics of the world and the trading card games from back in the day. If you like the Waka drop, we do have another drop that we should be getting here in the next month or two. Another major star seems to have committed with us, so we'll get some announcements out about that in the not too distant futures. You might want to go stock up on vouchers if that's at all important to you. But yeah, Nico, stoked to have you here. Stoked that you're swimming in our pond. It's wonderful praise to hear you say nice things about this game and be excited to build here and partner with this community. And we're glad to have you. And thanks for bringing your experience, your connections, your network, and your passion for gaming here. It's an honor to have you.
My pleasure. Thanks for the praise, and be nice to Bulldog, today, because I'm gonna need him for that stream tomorrow.
Well, why don't we move over to Bulldog, and I guess what I'd like to do is sort of invite Bulldog, Chatter, and Weirdbeard to just kind of give us we just heard basically from two different groups, right? One is this community gaming platform, which is a tournament platform, and we just heard from NicoThePico, professional esports gaming, and I think we got some decent praise from both groups, and that it's not too surprising because we're partnered with them and we work with them, and we've already sort of decided that we like them, but it is nice to hear that they have an affinity for a game. Just what are some of the thoughts that struck you, or what are you guys most excited about? And I just want to make this kind of an open marketing discussion for a bit.
I'll go first because I got name dropped a couple of times in there. I want to really emphasize to people that are watching and communicating and talking about this how robust the term esports is, right? Because esports, you think of Ninja and sweaty 16-year-olds playing Fortnite, right? But it's much more than that. Esports and tournaments is a marketing tool that reaches to all the people that are not already hardcore Splinterlands fans, right? I've talked about it many times on these town halls. If you go into the tournament channel, not everybody cares about the investment opportunities of the game, right? Some people really like just playing the game and competing in that. And even if you are somebody who's focused on investments, there's a lot of people who are interested in investments in the sense of if I put in X amount of card value, I can enter into these tournaments, which I'm also able to use and win tournaments and prizing with. It's really important to use this as a platform to reach out to those multiple different groups of people that exist out there, because you're not going to bring in 1 million new players by just talking about the price of SPS or being like, oh God, wow, you can buy 5 Yodens for really cheap and then combine them and then flip them on this. It's a very it's a line of thinking that you have to double down on and see. We brought on community gaming. Who were they talking about? They were talking about doing partnerships with Riot, with Valorant, with, you know what I mean? Riot is the largest esports company in the world. And that's because they're part of Tencent, the largest video gaming company in the world. The way that we're able to make these inroads and really connect a lot of the dots is through tournaments and gaming, right? At the end of the day, gaming and people enjoy gaming because of an innate sense of competition within it. It's one of those things that it feels kind of weird because it's like the Titanic. It moves slowly where you have to do a whole bunch of these tournaments and you have to go out there, and it's lots of education opportunities and being able to talk to people about why Splinterlands is a competitive game. But once you get over that initial hump, the tournaments just become so much easier and people get it and they understand what it is. From conversations that I've had with Liam internally and everything, and I hope that he can speak to this a little bit more, is the partners and the people that are interested. At first, when we first kind of talk to them and just be like, hey, it's Splinterlands, it's a blockchain game, people will be like, okay, I kind of get it. But then the moment when you explain tournaments and how we use tournaments and what people are in tournaments for, it clicks for people and they instantly understand it and they're able to go forward with it.
Bulldog, anything that you're seeing from a community perspective?
Oh, and there's just a ton of excitement around these tournaments. I can't wait until these things expand, and that's what I got into the game for. When I joined, I didn't necessarily know anything about blockchain. I wasn't getting into it to invest. I was getting into it to play games and be competitive and that type of thing. And even as a streamer, that's what I love, the competition side of it. So seeing these tournaments move forward and kind of seeing what's coming down the line is absolutely exciting. I can't wait.
Awesome. And what about you, Cheddar? Where's your brain at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely on the same page as Weird Beard there. You kind of stole my thunder a little bit.
Sorry.
But what I think is really cool is the whole kind of community building aspect of it. I mean, word of mouth and kind of community has been our biggest push on the marketing side of things, more from a business perspective. So having those guilds interacting with our community and helping kind of build these micro ecosystems is super cool to see. But on the more kind of personal side of things, I would just love to see more kind of guild versus guild battles, and whether we do tournaments who are send your top 5 players and we're going to make some trophies that are bragging rights and all these fun things. I think that would be hilarious and awesome.
Yeah, and remember, esports as it is right now, like there's people in the comments that I've talked to that are like, esports, are you going to be able to match the audiences in Cologne or Katowice for CSGO? And it's like, well, no, not yet. But esports is the tournaments that we execute now are the first layer in like, okay, we eventually want to have in-person tournaments. You know what I mean? We want to be able to have like a pro tour that's dope as hell, that's in person and you're able to see the cards move and you're able to do all those kinds of things. But it also means the building blocks of like, hey, people have asked for, like cards or tournaments where everybody gets the same cards. People have asked for draft mode tournaments. People have asked for all these other kinds of tournaments. And it's like, as tournaments exist right now, no, it's not perfect. No, it doesn't cover every type of player, but we have to continue expanding the amount of people that are entering into the tournaments that exist now. And then once that's so overflowing with people, we're able to add all these other tournaments that then kind of like bolster the ship, right? Like a rising tide floats all boats. And that's really what we're working on is like Splinterlands up until, I don't want to, this feels very like high on myself. I apologize. But like before I got in here, Splinterlands wasn't like tournament focused, right? Like there was all kinds of world building and other things that are going on. Now that I'm here, like tournaments and esports are in full swing. And it may have been 2 months so far and we've made decent progress, but like a year from now, when we look back and see where tournaments were and where they will be, it's going to be night and day, and it's going to impact and change a lot of things. You want to see new players in the game? Do more tournaments. You want to see people that go farther up the ladders? Do more tournaments. You want to see large name brands and companies and the people and streamers that you love? Do more tournaments. Like it's a solution kind of for a lot of issues that people have, and I'm excited to continue to double down on it.
Rock on. Bulldog Chatter, anything you want to add to that?
I'm just most excited for those tournaments where everybody is on the same playing field with the same cards and that type of thing, and we can start to get some more trash talk and that type of thing where it's not just I'm beating down on somebody because I've got a better deck or whatever the case is, but where we really get to see who the best players are.
And those tournaments will still exist where like, listen, if you want to, Champions League, sometimes people sneak in there and play the lower level decks. That's fine. But we need to also offer opportunities to people who do want to have level playing fields or do have playing spaces where people don't want to play out against alt accounts, or, you know what I mean? Like it's less about saying, here's the one way you can play our game, the only way you're allowed to do it, and giving, hey, you want to play with this rule set, you go here. You want to play with this rule set, you go here. Like it's a lot of being able to go through and understand our player base. And that's why like 90% of my working time is spent just trying to understand who the hell plays this game and what makes them tick so that we can better serve them.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be so important for marketing too. Not to pump Weirdbeard's tires anymore, but he's been doing a kick-ass job around here. I think what will be really cool is when we start getting on those big name streamers, how do we get like the Shrouds and the Lyrics and all those people of the world to start coming on and having these like exhibition tournaments with Splinterlands and doing these huge Twitch promotions. I know he's already starting to do a lot of that reach out. So big credit to Weirdbeard there, but going to be pretty awesome what we can do in the next couple months.
Like the last thing I'll say, because I know Aggie's like looking at me being like, shut the hell up. But
No.
It's listen, I will say to the community, I do not lose. Like if you come for the king, you cannot miss. And that's where I'm at with all of this stuff. Like I'm not here to play patty cake. I'm not here to be like, oh, we're going to go after just play to earn games or just people who care about blockchain. I'm here to be able to go toe to toe with a Riot. I may not be able to do that, but that's my goal, is to be like, I want to give the best competitive scene in any game. That doesn't mean just blockchain. That doesn't mean just trading card games. Like I want the Dr. Disrespects, the Shrouds, the Ninjas, the Misgifts, everybody to want to be so involved in Splinterlands because of how dope it is. And like, if that's my guiding mantra of just making it as dope as possible and wanting as many people as possible to be involved, we're not going to lose. And I won't let this team lose. So we're going to win.
I want to pause for a second and be like, look, one of the reasons that we did this Waka Flocka thing is because we want to set the culture that Splinterlands is cool, The next celebrity is actually like a pretty famous athlete, and I think people will be stoked to see that this guy is part of our ecosystem and part of our game, and I'm hoping that these kind of events make your life easier in that you can turn around and be like, dude, these are some of the biggest stars in the world, and you guys should be here too.
Exactly.
And because I think culture sets everything. Maybe there was even a book called "Culture Eats Strategy for Breakfast," and I really just think that the more that we can set the culture that Splinterlands is the dopest freaking thing out there, that's what's going to make us awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's more than anything else is that people keep seeing each of these announcements and the things that we're doing as like one-offs, right? Like that they exist in a vacuum when it's way more of a snowball. Like once you start doing one thing, the next thing gets bigger and the next thing gets bigger and the next thing gets bigger. So, you know, like it's cumulative in what we're doing and the marketing that Liam's doing and, you know, bringing on Robbie recently as our partnerships manager. Like there's so many things that just like we can't even talk about. It's frustrating because you want to like just shake people and be like, just shut up and listen to me. There's stuff coming. But like at the same time, like, guys, it's this is not here to just like, I don't want to spend my time in the Discord arguing with people about like, oh, you know, this tournament has 100 people and this one has 95. I want 5,000 people in each of my tournaments. Like I consider it a failure if it's not, you know, so many people that it breaks the system and the devs have to be like, Weirdbeard, how did you get so many people to sign up? Like, I know that sounds stupid, but like, I'm just it's frustrating because people continue to see tournaments as like this small vertical when it's really a marketing tool and an outreach tool to go out and like when we bring in this, you know, this next big celebrity athlete, like to what if we were to say, hey, we're going to do a tournament where you get to play against this person, you know what I mean? Like how cool of an event would that be? And then after we do that, other celebrities and entertainers and athletes go, oh, we want to do a tournament. And then next thing you know, maybe we have like, you know, the largest just esports players, the largest Magic the Gathering players come in and do a tournament. Like it's just, I'm sick of looking at Splinterlands as just like a blockchain game. Like that's not the way to look at it. The way to look at it is it's dope AF and that's all we have to do. And if you're the dopest one in the room, people don't care what you're doing. They don't care about the price of a card. They don't care about what SPS is at. They care about like, yo, that's dope. I want to be a part of it. And like, that's where I'm at. I'm ready to be dope, man.
Rock on. Okay, let's go do a little bit of DYGYCON hype real quick, and then I want to go give the stage over to Nate. Nate, we're gonna run a little bit over from the 1 hour experience, so you got a couple minutes, and then hopefully there's some eye candy that you can share with us and tell us your priorities. But for the minute, Waffles, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Do you want to go tell us about the next DYGYCON and what's happening?
Yeah, I feel like this next DYGYCON. Oh, by the way, this is Sarah. I run all the DYGYCON events, happens every 2 months. It's a virtual experience that I don't think you guys want to miss. This upcoming DYGYCON is probably slated to be the biggest one yet. I think previously we had like 4 halls filled with sponsors, but now I think we have 5. I know you guys were asking about ASMR. I You know what? It might happen after the event because my voice sounds like this right now, and I'm gonna be on the live stream with you guys on Saturday, so give me some, like, positive energy. If you guys need to, like, I don't know, send me some virtual boba or, like, send me I'll give you my Cash App. I'll go get boba and then, like, you know, I'll have it on the stream. Anyway,
Boba.
I know. Anyways, I'll send you guys the link to DYGYCON 8. I'll make a post about it. I also have 2 blogs that I'm going to send out before the event. And I've been working really hard on this event. And I'm also happy we have like a couple people from the community helping us out as volunteers. And we've just got a lot of great stuff in store for you. So that's this week, Friday to Sunday, March 18 to 20. And then the live stream is going to be 2 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. or 7 p.m. UTC. Check out digicon.com. Thanks, Ziggy. Yes, I'll drink all the tea. And I'll add honey too.
And then what's the biggest benefit to the players that might want to show up? What's the best part there?
There's probably over 30 different sponsors that are coming. We've also gotten a lot of attention from the wax community. Lots of swag that's getting distributed, including 25 Splinterlands Chaos Legion packs and 25 Splinterlands vouchers that are up for grabs. We've got a bunch of exclusive Digicon 8 NFTs that are collaborated with a couple of awesome people in the community. So there's how many pages of this do I have? I think I have like 10 plus swag from a bunch of people that are contributing to the event. I think somebody's giving out like a t-shirt too.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks, Waffles. Glad to know everybody should be at DYGYCON. I'm going to be doing my best to be there. I know I'm slated to talk. This is a little bit of a crazy time for our family, so hopefully everything goes smoothly. But there might be some other news or announcements that I'll be making instead. But gonna do my best. It's a fun event. I do really like the sponsors and the partners that come. It's been fun to see Atomic Hub tweeting about us and about this event. Pretty cool there. So, all right. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks, Waffles. Glad to have you here. And to kind of round out the show, why don't we go bring on Nate and go? You know what we all think is sexy? Eye candy, video game eye candy. That's the sexiest thing that we could be asking for. And who better to deliver the sweet sounds and the smooth looks of the Splinterlands than Nate, creative director himself.
Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, I mean, just to ride the coattails of all the guests that came before me. So much exciting stuff. I know that earlier in the call, the community gaming guys were mentioning Riot, and they got brought up again, and to me, it's like that's quite the opportunity. The fact that, I mean, Riot's a big deal, and the fact that they're I think a couple years ago they had implied that, hey, they wanted to go into NFT, and there was this kind of resistance with the player base that they had, and so they couldn't do what they wanted to do. I think that anyone who looks at the industry sees the inevitability of NFT and blockchain, and it's just a match made in heaven. It's chocolate and peanut butter, right? When it comes to how things should be, and that speaks to a while back. I remember when Microsoft and Xbox, they were like, okay, all digital, screw those discs. And, and there was this uproar from the player base. No, we can't get rid of the discs. We need the discs. But, year by year, it's more digital content, it's getting bigger and bigger, and discs are, lower and lower on those charts. And you see that, Microsoft is just kind of ahead of the curve, but, the public at large just wasn't ready yet. So to me, when I hear all this exciting stuff earlier on the town hall, to me it's like, wow, that's great. I'm so happy that that Riot isn't yet just able to embrace it yet. That gives us more time to kind of extend the lead that we already do. So I think that by the time that the world at large is NFTs is just a normal way of life for gamers across the world, that Splinterlands is perfectly positioned, perfectly leveraged to kind of take advantage of all that. So that's really cool to see. So I'm just giving my little 2 cents at all the excitement that's going on earlier. For the creative side, I would say, well, first of all, I want to get this let's see. So if you guys haven't checked it out, check out the lore. So there is the last story that we published yesterday, and if you guys aren't reading the weekly story publications, or maybe you don't know how to read, then you could just watch the YouTube and listen to it, or you can hear it. We're offering all these different possibilities and options, and I'm sure there's going to be more in the future where maybe we'll be able to animate or have motion graphics, or just have it on Audible, or be able to, all these different ways to enjoy and experience the lore of Splinterlands. And more and more, you guys are going to find that lore is going to be more and more important, whether or not it's chatter offering some sort of cool giveaway or contest for knowing the lore, or whether it's because eventually we have some sort of gameplay that kind of factors in how much you know about the Splinterlands universe, so that you can kind of get through your story mode or campaign mode or explore it more fully. Then yeah, that's the focus, that's the hope, that's the dream, is that whether it's through the game or a physical tabletop, or whether it is through a comic book or a book or a narrative on audio, or whether it's a campaign mode in the game or whatever, you're going to get more and more cool lore. What else can I share? I mean, there's all kinds of different stuff we're working on for creatively. What do you think, Aggro? Do you have any preference as to?
Well, we have something like 20 different teams now, and so you could be pulling stuff from any of those teams. I think folks are always going to be interested in land, interested in validators, interested in land, validators, and modern versus wild. Those are kind of like the big three projects. So if you have anything to share from either of those, that would be great. And then if you but we also have all these other side things that we're doing. So sharing additional stuff, I think, is a great way. Players are saying card leaks are good. So whatever, I don't know, I'd share from the big ones and go from there.
No, for sure. Let's see. What do I got that I can? I've shared the little landscapes in the past for land, and I've shared so many different ones that I'm losing track of which ones I've shared. So I have I shared a tundra yet, or a lake? Have I shared those before?
I don't know. Let's put them out, and I'll tell you if I've seen them before or not.
All right. So
maybe we did the tundra.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, people want to see these things.
Okay. So our Shino XL is our the guy, our concept artist, who's been doing great in creating the landscapes, and he's done so many, so this is a common tundra. I'll share that with you. And so this speaks to the variety of different geography that you see in Pretoria, which is, again, different than any other continent in the world, because when people came to Pretoria to see, hey, what's going on here, they realized that something is weird, meaning you had, frozen, barren wastelands right next to a, thriving jungle, which was next to a desert, which is next to something else. And everyone was like, what the heck is going on here? How is this even possible? And that speaks to, again, some of the lore behind the Wizards Council, what they were doing on Pretoria, what the magic within that part of the world, the weird, bizarre side effects that had, and how that mana was able to be channeled in interesting applications. So in terms of land, you'll notice that, there's quite a dramatic spectrum, a variety of geography when you're exploring Pretoria, and part of that has to do with, like what I just showed you, a frozen landscape. I think that's a common land. That's a common tundra, I believe. And I could, I already mentioned lakes, so I guess I could share that too. This one's an epic lake, I believe, so I'll share that as well. That looks pretty cool. And what's funny with the lake stuff is for rivers and lakes, which are geography types, we had to artistically go and create a platform, because if you're creating a building, most buildings don't float. So we created a platform upon which those buildings can rest. So that should be, and we'll get into that as we explore land further in future town halls, and how that sort of stuff works. But hopefully that gives you guys at least a taste into, into land as we kind of push forward with the product teams and what we're doing there.
All right. Any other? So that's a little bit of land. Anything that you want to show from validators or from Modern vs. Wild?
let's see. I don't have anything handy. Although the work is still going with that. We got some conceptual stuff that we're working on that overlaps with both. I think I shared previously the new badges that we're currently working on that represent each of the league tiers. And we're moving forward more and more with that. So as we flesh out how Modern and Wild are going to be represented, it's just looking freaking awesome. Same thing with, let's see, we're also working on reward change, rank reward revamp. And I'm not going to get into technicalities of that, or I think we'll be releasing a blog post soon to kind of describe what it is that means for the player. But in terms of creative assets, there's some cool stuff. The reward chests, how those are going to, be displayed, and on feature town halls as we get a little bit closer, I'll share more and more of that stuff so that people can kind of start salivating over what's going on there. I will say, I don't want to be, feel like I'm letting you guys down, so I'll share something. So we are continuing to work on the overall stylization of our artwork. And it's quite possible that the upcoming Rift Watchers set may, after Rift Watchers, we may pivot a little bit. You may see a slight change in the stylistic approach that we have for the character art, the background art, everything that we're doing as a game. And just to give you guys a fair warning, we're going to start little by little. It's just a little bit. We're just kind of dipping our toe in the water. Maybe not the next couple of stories, but pretty soon the weekly stories will be where you can start seeing for the first time a little bit of a taste of the direction that we're thinking of for Splinterlands as a whole down the road. And so we're doing that in hopes that we could start getting community feedback on it. Like, what do you guys think about this? Because it is slightly different than everything that came before. And we want to get, your guys' opinions on it. What do you think? How do you feel? And maybe by next town hall, I can kind of like point out, what's going on. The illustrations on the weekly stories will be very much a little on the rough side. We don't spend a ton load of time trying to add color and polish and stuff, but there's still really cool illustrations on those stories. And I encourage people to check them out if for no other reason. If you're not in the lore, the artwork's pretty darn cool. And as we kind of just shared in the chat there, NFTs are made out of this artwork if you want to be part of Splinterlands history. But to speak to that, let me show you a little bit of what we're thinking. Do you guys remember the what's his name? Child of the Forest. I think it's an Untamed card for Earth.
Yep.
Let me see. So if I look for that guy, where is he? Oh, there he is. All right, let me take a quick screenshot and then drop that in here just to give people a reminder of what that guy is, or if anyone has a here, I got it. There we go. Okay, so if any of you guys remember this guy from the Untamed set, so we're doing case studies internally with the art team to kind of figure out what direction, how do we support storytelling with the artwork? How do we lean towards eventually animated series or feature film? How do we lean towards comic books? How do we lean towards in-game animation and bringing the characters to life? So one of our art team, I believe this was Paolo, yeah, is the artist, I believe, for this. So he said, okay, I tasked all our art guys with stylizing with this new direction, and this is what he came up with, and it was I really liked it because you look at this concept art and you think, yeah, this kid doesn't have parents. This guy's crazy. He's out there in the forest, kind of like, and you look at that and you think, wow, yeah, I could see the storytelling. I could see. I start wondering, well, what's this kid doing? What's he like? Why is he out in the forest by himself? Why is he wild and crazy? Is he going to eat that bug, or is he going to make friends with that bug? So, as we pursue down that road, you're going to see more and more artwork like that in the stories. And the more feedback you guys can provide, the more we can kind of say, okay, yeah, everything's in alignment The community likes it. It meets our goals internally as a company and where we want to go, and we'll see where we end up.
That sounds awesome, Nate. And I really like, I want to be able to tell as many stories and get as much into the lore as possible. I think that'll be a giant benefit to us. I always try to think about what makes a player have what I consider a sticky experience. How do we keep them in the ecosystem? And sometimes it's the playing and the earning. Sometimes it's the community. Sometimes it's just the gameplay, and you really like the aspect of the challenge and ranking up and fighting. But one of the things that I hope that we get to continue to explore more and more is how this lore links in with the characters, which links into the player experience, which links into just them feeling part of this community, and the more things that we can do to sort of bridge the physical and with the digital and bring all of this to some way that you as a human can start feeling like you are a wizard, a battle mage, a monster, a summoner in this, and feel like you have characters and storylines and story arcs that drag you in, and you could be like, look, I was going to quit this game, but here's Matt Clark. He's one of the finest gentlemen that ever lived. I can't leave. Or I was going to leave this game, but the spirit of the forest, that character just really calls to me. I can't see letting her go. Or the Lord of Darkness, or any of the Child of the Forest, whoever it is. If there's something that emotionally connects us to these characters, I feel like that creates really sticky adoptions, and it might not be for everybody. Some people just want to be like, shut up and let me earn. But there are going to be some people that be like, well, I already have money. I don't care. Or money's not really my driver here. What I like is a rich culture. And I feel like that all the emphasis that you're putting on this can help us keep a lot of players around, especially as it matures and develops into these animations and series. And Pokemon didn't just become one of the biggest games in the world because of the gameplay. I mean, I don't have people telling me day in, day out what an amazing game Pokemon is, but yet it's one of the most popular things out there. And I think it's really because of the culture and the animation and the show and the video and the whole zeitgeist around it.
Aggie, have you ever played Yu-Gi-Oh?
I've played a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh, which
Yu-Gi-Oh's not fun to play. People loved the cartoon and they got super into the cartoon, and then they were like, you know what? We'll put up with a card game.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing that makes things stick. Everybody sees it as nobody wakes up in the morning and thinks about well, the rule set for blast damage is actually that. They don't care about that. They care about Pikachu's cute and I like it. I have my girlfriend buys little they're carved out of crystals. This is like a Vulpix here, right? She just thinks they're cute. She can't name them or anything like that. That's way more the kind of adopters that you see, because you can't have all hardcore players, right? There's people that are hardcore, and then there's the people who are just the Marge meme where she's like, I think they're neat. That's a lot of the people there. We got to be able to speak to both sides of the community and not just tunnel vision on one or the other.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Well, I think that concludes this part of the little town hall here. There's a lot to be excited for on the marketing front, on the creative front. While we're sitting here, Hardpoint handed over a product roadmap for us, and this is really one of the first multi-product team roadmaps that I've seen. So we're making a lot of progress in terms of the structure, the organization, and being able to go deliver not only code, but timelines on codes and plan around code. So hopefully, maybe not this next one, but the one after, I would hope that we can present this and kind of give you guys a pretty in-depth analysis and experience of what we're building, how we're building it, when we think it'll be done across multiple teams. And I think as we talk about modern and wild, as we talk about land, as we talk about validators, as we talk about tournaments, there's a lot that we're trying to put together simultaneously. You throw in the mix some Warner Music Group and maybe some additional stuff that is kind of hanging out there. There's a lot, other celebrities that we're bringing in. Like we're really firing on all cylinders, and we have a great base of hardcore gamers and people that are, we're getting the guilds that are coming and looking for the bigger projects, as you're seeing with Balthazar, and I don't know. And then we're doing the esports stuff with community gaming and other projects to go and keep getting the word out and find ways to bring people in. So feel like we're making strong and steady progress. I don't know. These are I really think we're going to have like an amazing year for business just in general. This is probably going to go down as one of the single best years of company history. So I'm excited for it. Okay, so with that, Madam Reality Verse Model, who could even tell just by my tone without saying her name, could go put this thing in, and she's amazing. All right, so let's go talk through right now. So the first part is the airdrop, not the airdrop. The first part of the stuff is the town hall. The second part are some of the questions that have come beforehand. And then the third and last part is where we actually will answer random questions from the audience. So let me go through these questions. So any news about Rift Watchers, when it will come out? Will vouchers be needed? Will it be on sale alongside Chaos Legion? When any news about Rift Watchers? So I believe, let me go. I'm going to cheat and look at this. Yeah, I don't know the exact date that Rift Watchers is going to come out. I'm expecting Q3, but I don't know that for certain. Maybe it's Q4.
I mean, last I heard, we were aiming for summer. Summer's
what? July. So that's
we were thinking
Q3.
July has been bounced around as a month that we were considering.
Yeah. So Q3, Q4, somewhere in that time frame is my general sense. Hopefully, I can narrow that down a little bit more as we get closer. Will vouchers be needed? My hope is yes. So my experience with vouchers is I said everything should be vouchers, and the community's like, shut your fat face, aggro. We don't want that. And then we did like just the portion of vouchers that we did, and everybody came back and said, we want more vouchers. Why didn't you do more? So that was my little goat rodeo with the community. So my hope is that I think vouchers are one of like the best invention in this thing. So I want to see vouchers for all of it, but I'm just one voice, and we have a whole community to work with, and we have, Matt's really the one that handles most of the economic side of things. So I will lobby Matt, but I will continue to defer to him on a lot of the economic stuff. Will it be on sale alongside Chaos Legion? Yes, I expect that it will be, but it'll be very different because the current plan, and again, don't hold us to it until you have a white paper that says this is what we're planning on doing. But I think all of the sales will be in SBS, and I think all of the SBS sales will go to the DAO. And so that all the owners of SBS will, have some pool of funds that is ever growing to go figure out how the community would like to develop this project. So that's our current plan. It doesn't mean that that's exactly what's going to happen, but use that information. Land. Do you have any info about the land to share? Any small thing would be super appreciated. Thank you for doing a great game. Yeah, we're still working on it. We have an entire team devoted to it. We're trying to get this damn thing rolled out, and I just literally got an update about it today. I haven't been able to go sort of do a deep dive into this, but hopefully in the next week or two, I can really roll that out. Will you need to be in a guild to use your land plot when land is developed? No, but we're going to try to tie guild stuff in with land so that if you're in a guild, there are benefits to operating your land. That's my understanding. Whether it starts like that on day one, I don't know, but we definitely want to tie guilds and land together, but not make it a requirement. We don't like you have to be in a thing to do a thing. That's a little bit more intense than what we typically try to build around. If summoners are required to work the land, as has been mentioned before, this would probably make the legendary summoner really hard to get. Have you considered excluding summoners, at least a requirement to use them, from land workers? No. I mean, that's kind of the joy with all this stuff, is that the summoners have to go work the land, the monsters have to work the land. Yes, that it means that scarcity increases. If there's something like 150,000 plots, and maybe there's one summoner per plot and a couple monsters per plot, and all those things don't just need to be level 1, but could be max level, you're talking about quite a lot of cards that are going to get soaked up to be part of this land ecosystem. So you're probably not going to own enough cards. You might just need to get used to that. That's one of the challenges of this. Will you be able to get season rewards in both Modern and Wild? For example, my rank is Gold 3 in Wild, and my rank is Gold 1 in Modern. Is the season settlement just the highest rank? Nate, you're a little bit more intimate with this than I am. My understanding is yes, but feel free to correct me.
Yeah, I believe, everything's TBD, but I believe that both formats are open to be played any way you want. I mean, if you want to rank up in Modern and then switch over to Wild and rank up there, the one thing you just have to keep in mind is that the capture rate is universal across both. They do not have separate capture rates. So it's kind of like you as the player decide whether you want to spend half your time on one format and half the time on the other and get, medium rewards, or just really focus on one so you can get better rewards and on that one and maybe lesser rewards on the other. It's kind of like you have that flexibility, but like I said, everything's TBD. So, more information will be on the way. But as it stands right now, unless we change it, I think that's the way it's intended to work.
Tournaments. Could you do novice and bronze tournaments that require maximum power or only allow cards you own, not rent?
As of right now, that's not something we're looking at. But I mean, I think the tournament scene can allow for any kind of tournament almost. You know what I mean? Like, there's an unlimited number of possibilities. The biggest thing is, as we've talked about for what feels like a month and a half, is there are a lot of really big dev projects that are sitting in the queue that we need to get out first, including a tournament project. So we need to get through the current set of tournaments that we're getting made on the back end. And then have people get really excited about those. And then from there, why not? Honestly, you could say, hey, why don't we do a tournament where it's literally only Yodins and that's all you play? Sure, whatever. I don't care. If there's people that want to do it and there's a healthy fan base for it, I think that we're open to talking about any kind.
Rock on. Chaos Legion pre-sale pack buying contest. Do the players who won the designing rights on the new legendary summoners have a say in the abilities they get, or is it only the name and visual designs that they are influencing? Nate, what's your experience designing these and working with Matt on abilities?
Yeah, I think the idea here is that we do ask all the winners of that, of those legendary summoners to go ahead and let us know not just what the character looks like and what their background is, but also what it is, what kind of character you're trying to make, what kind of abilities are you hoping to see, all that stuff. I think the key takeaway though is that influence is definitely a far cry from actually being able to guarantee or determine with any final say what it is that's ultimately up to Matt. Matt has to be able to balance the game properly. And I think that all the contributors to the legendary summoners and what's happening, I think everyone understands that. So, but yeah, definitely that is taken in a consideration. I mean, the type of character that they want is going to definitely influence the stats and abilities and what that card's able to do. So it's just to what extent, so that's a Matt thing.
Yeah. All right. Suggestions, requests. What about buying merch with DEC or SBS? Merch has been on the radar. I guess I probably need to go have a deep discussion with Chatter about what we're going to get and how we're going to run it, and just get some simple T-shirts or a couple hoodies out there. That I could see being done with DEC or SBS, or honestly even some vouchers too. Can some of the artists or developers, and actually some of the merch, some merch we're thinking about is what about a Splinterlands actual card game? I don't know that it'll be like a full trading card game the same way that we're doing it now, but I could see a card game happening. And I could see some role-playing games, and I could see some tabletop games. Those are all different ways to engage our users and get them here. And I could see all those things being sold for DEC or SBS. So, that stuff is it's on there. Plushies too. Plushies are somewhere on that radar. Realityverse model is saying we're getting merch. We did just hire Hurricane. So he's working on the Warhammer like figurines, plushie prototypes, all of that.
No, that's exciting. Like I know internally, the creative team was like looking at I just had a meeting the other day with our creative game designer, and we were like, we got all this artwork, and it's just sitting there, and like it seems like such a low hanging fruit to just make a physical card game, but like you said, it wouldn't have the same mechanics as the browser based game. But more like, just a casual where you can get like a bunch of people around the table, but instead of playing Uno or something, or whatever, you could play this quick, fun Splinterlands card game. And so yeah, I mean, we're actually kind of working a little bit on saying, well, how what kind of game mechanics would that have? Can we do it real quick and easy? And if so, let's maybe get something out there to be play tested. So.
Yeah, I got a quick game in my mind that's more or less modeled after one of the other card games I made. But it would what I really like is adding storytelling elements to it. So like the one of the abilities might be, or one card that you might play is, yeah, but I have armor, and that would be like you get a temporary boost to your armor after somebody has hit you with something, and so you're like telling this story of like. Some guys, a card is, I hit you with magic, and then you play, yeah, but I have mage armor, and then somebody else plays, but it's dispelled, and so you have both these like things that are happening in the game where like your values are going up and down, your stats, your scores, your abilities are changing, but you're also telling a story, and I think that makes it for a really fun game. Because then when you're like smiting your friends, you have told this kind of crazy story of what just happened. And then you're like, and then your arm was blown off. And it's just a whole fun little story. So I have some thoughts around that, and hopefully we can make something cool happen there.
Well, we have to remember, like, one of our natural allies in this ecosystem are like those places where like trading cards and models and tabletop games and like all of those hobby stores have people, right? Like I remember when I was much younger, where I would get dropped off and play Friday Night Magic with a bunch of other sweaty, non-showering nerds when I was in high school. Like
those are our people.
Exactly. Those are our people. That's our tribe. So like, I think anything that would get them excited is kind of what we have our eye on, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to get in those stores, right? Like, we have these posters. I had this idea like right before COVID hit of like, Splinterlands, evangelists, and like putting these posters everywhere. And I know you guys have gone with that some, and it's great to see. But it wasn't just about like that poster. It's about like, how do we get ourselves into these stores where all these folks are, both to aggregate those people and give them some exposure to us. But like, our game is really good at spreading through word of mouth. So if you get like one hardcore gamer that's like, dude, you got to check this game out, and you can sit them in front, kind of like a Tupperware party and like a video game business or like a hobby store. I think things like that are awesome. Okay. So Nate, this is a little bit to you. Can some of the artists or developers working on features stream while they work? This can do a ton to promote the game, and I love that type of content. And for the record, I think this is an amazing idea. Like if we could get Gucci and some of the other artists to like sit there, and while they're actually like making the characters, just like show how they make the Splinterlands art and the stuff that we do. Like I think we could definitely get an audience just from doing that.
No, for sure. I mean, that sounds pretty exciting. I like how they put artists or developers. Like I'm trying to imagine a developer stream where they're just sitting there coding.
That's what they do, and they're really popular. Like I don't know that I'll ever convince Cryptomancer to do this. The devs are so hard, right? Because the devs don't like interacting with humans. that's why they're devs. But the maybe some of the artists do, and you get a couple guys that are like Hardpoint that really like the stage and limelight. But if we could just stream some of our work, especially where it's graphical or it's development, I think there would be a lot of people that would be interested in that.
No, for sure. No, that sounds fun.
All right. Well, if Ron's still listening, we should try to rope in some of the artists into the stream team and have them participate in that. Is it possible to share the rest of the airdrops now? Wouldn't that lead to more people buying packs in order to ensure that they get these great cards? It's not possible because I don't think they're all fully developed. Nate, how are you guys doing in terms of like of the player art having been generated?
Yeah, we're working through them. Last I checked, some were getting through the sketching phase, and other ones are being colored, and other ones the story and background is still kind of being finalized. But so there's 6 of them. So I mean, there's a lot of progress being made. Like I said last time, I think that the first of the legendary summoners to be airdropped is probably going to be Life. So I guess we'll see if that holds true. But yeah, as we work through all that stuff, then for sure, just like always, we'll be giving little taste before they actually get dropped. It sounds like the person asking the question is really looking for more lead time. They want to see it farther in advance, and so we'll see what we can do.
Okay, rock on. Could you provide some info, a pop-up maybe for the SPS that is released every day? What exactly goes in it, and so on? Does anybody here know the correct answer of where they can find that kind of information? Bueller?
This feels like
Bueller?
when the teacher asks for who did their homework.
Yeah, this is where do you find it? Where do you find this information out? Anybody? Not docs.splinterlands. That's close. Nobody knows. Okay. Well, this might be some of the challenge. It's sbs.splinterlands.com. Blue John Fitzo gets the right answer. It's the white paper. So you guys can go check out the white paper. The white paper tells you exactly like when these things are going to go out. We're behind on some of them. So things like some of the liquidity pools haven't started yet. But if you're interested in how many tokens were part of the private sale or how much is airdropped SBS, where's that all at? It's all through sbs.splinterlands.com, and there's like a distribution link in there, and you guys can go check that out. So we're not trying to hide it. We posted our white paper, and we've been following it to the best of our ability. Some things are still behind, but we're not like drastically altering what we're doing. It's just trying to get there time-wise. All right, those are all the questions that I see, and we have about 30 minutes left. So this is the Q&A section is now open. So if you guys have any of your random questions that you'd like to do, then go ahead, put them in here, and we can go answer community questions that are spawning as of right now. Brybro is asking, so when that League of Legends stream actually going to happen with Nico? I taken it as word that he was actually interested in that. Was that your take, Weirdbeard? He was serious there?
I mean, why not? I think first off, you have to quit calling it LOL. It's League. But I mean, if we're wanting to get into it, yeah, like listen, I can jungle because I love being abused, and you and Chatter can play top and bottom lane. We need to find a mid, and we'll be good to go.
If we lose, it's your fault, right?
All right, Liam's gonna hate that I'm bringing this up right now. So Liam, the new guy we hired, Robbie, and I are competing in an Apex Legends tournament on Friday. So if we actually wanted to do a league stream, yo, I'm all for it. I'm here to win in anything. You could tell me that we're playing like pickup sticks, and I would still be like, all right, cool. How long? What are the
What's
rules?
your rank in League?
So I'm a diamond player.
Oh my God. This is
like
terrible.
I know, I don't care.
No. No. It's terrible because I'm literally wood. I love League of Legends. That game is so much fun, and I like all the things about being a toxic player that I like keep out of Splinterlands. I love to do in League of Legends, like just blame other people, be a jerk. Like I'm the worst. So, and honestly, if we lose anything, it's Jungle's fault. Why wasn't Jungle like coming to bot lane to help us?
Sure, that's fine. But when we win, are you going to be like, oh man, Jungle did a great job there?
No, because what's going to happen is the ADC gets fed, and I'm going to say the ADC won. He had to carry us, and the only reason that he got that high up in kills was because of his amazing support. I am not an effective, healthy, functional human being in League of Legends. If there's a single spot in my life where I break all of my personal rules, is to be a toxic League of Legends player.
I mean, I think this is why this stream has to happen. I think it's important now.
Yeah, let's do it. If he's game, and then he can coach us. Nico can be like, look, first off, we need aggro to stop being such a bastard to his teammates. Like that would really help team morale. You know, he can coach us.
Listen, I'm all for getting better. I'm pretty trash at most things.
All right. Next up, Kazrak is asking, any news on the Waka sale on Wax? Do you have any plans to move the remaining cards over to the Splinterlands store? I don't know that we have immediate plans, but that's probably not a bad idea.
I have. I can actually answer that. So yeah, we had definitely a bit of a learning experience with the Waka second phase there. So definitely taking it on the chin. That was our bad on the second part of the sale. But I think lesson learned, we're going to be kind of selling exclusively in Splinterlands going forward. But for the Waka side of things, the plans are going to be to actually port them back into Splinterlands and sell them both in the market and Peak Monsters. And we're actually going to be announcing that there's going to be a burn timer on it. So we're not sure what that timing is going to look like yet. But once we bring them back to Splinterlands and once we start the sale, it's going to be X amount of weeks on sale. After that, all the rest of the cards are going to be burned that are still up for sale.
Yeah, I mean, if it's back over with us, I'm pretty excited to go buy them. I don't play well with other blockchains. It's like it's just too much work to learn, and usually too slow and not enough fun, and I don't really care about other blockchains. So I don't know. I'd be excited to see them come back to Splinterlands and pick some of these things up. Okay. So what other questions do we have here? Where are we? Sorry, I think I missed a question. So I'm scrolling. You can see it all here, YouTube. Oh, yeah, this is white paper stuff. Okay. Any plans on adding? No, it's any plans on adding rule sets to Bronze 3? I don't think we're going to do much there. I mean, I think we do it pretty purposely to go keep it like relatively simple for the new folks. So I don't know. That's a Matt question, but I don't think so. How many mana will the new legendary summoners be? 6 or 8? Anybody know? I actually don't know.
I don't even know if Matt knows.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. It's the however many Matt thinks it ought to be. Question was, any art release yet of the upcoming legendary Earth Summoner? No, I don't think that we've seen that yet.
Not yet.
Question, are there plans to remove the unsold Walkets from Atomic Hub and perhaps selling them in game? They're just sitting there at Atomic Hub. Yes, we said yes, and then when we do, we'll burn some. Question, how many full-time equivalent employees do you have now at the team? It's something like 100. I actually don't know the exact number, but I think it's 100. And maybe that's not full-timers. Because I know we have 52. Last time I checked, we have 52 American-based full-time employees, but we also have a whole bunch of like foreigners that are contractors that, work many hours enough to start thinking of them as equivalent of full-time employees. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think most people, whether they're contractors or salary or whatever, I mean, I think most people in the company are probably full time. I mean, we have part timers, but
yeah, a lot of the guys here don't want to be hiring a lot of like part timers. They want full time employees that are like really dedicated to just this product, this game, and what we're doing. So I haven't seen. We have a handful of people that are contractors that have snuck in, but for the most part, that's not what I've seen. Okay, what else do we have here? League of Legends has created the best Netflix series ever. I happen to agree with that. That was pretty amazing. Question: Weird Beard. Any way to show tournament prizes in the tournament list? I don't like clicking into every tournament to see what, if any, cards are on the line.
It's not something that we're able to just like here put it in a line of code type of a thing. That's really what we're looking at for being able to optimize not only for the streamer mode that we're looking at, but also redoing a lot of the like overall tournament experience. So yes, but with the caveat that like we have a few other very important things that will come out first, and then quality of life changes like that will be next on deck.
Cheddar, are you saying that you were an ex-Grandmaster Jungle?
Yeah, I was ex-Grandmaster from last season. I'm sitting kind of high diamond right now.
That's pretty good. Who's your jungle of choice?
Kha'Zix and Diego are my kind of 2 one-trick ponies.
Okay. I'm pretty excited to go play with you guys. You're going to hate me. And I'll be the worst player on the team and the most toxic one of them.
Are you a Teemo player?
Me? No.
Yeah.
I just like support. And in fact, I don't even like support. I really just like Sona as support. I just sit there and play my little instrument and try not to miss when I do my ult. Be like everybody else, win for me. And then I like to talk a little trash and be like, please report so-and-so. They spent the game dancing rather than fighting. Anytime I land my ult. All right. Taug is asking, could you ask Nick Kyrgios to play Splinterlands? He loves Pokemon Go. So I imagine that is for Weird Beard or Chatter, and maybe you guys can figure that out. Will the new promo card with a famous athlete only be available at max level or 1BCX? Currently planning 1BCX, but I don't know. There's a lot between here and the end to see what that'll look like. Not going to lie, the wait for legendary summoners to be released is long, such that winning the design rights doesn't feel like anything. Maybe the team needs to reconsider the airdrop sequence for future releases. I like having the legendary summoners at the end because, the beginning you have this rush, and then at the end it's like, oh crap, if I want to get the best cards, I better be here. And everybody kind of FOMOs once you see that, like, oh, I get legendary summoners with this. Oh, they're trading for hundreds of dollars. Okay, maybe this is worth my time. Question: what is the nickname of the famous athlete? That's looking for alpha. I don't think I'm going to do that one. Question: is the leaderboard fix teed up for this season, specifically accounts keeping rank spot when CP falls well below league minimum?
Yes.
There you go. Question: with Modern vs. Wild having shared ECR, will there be any deterrence to prevent people from using 2 accounts to play in both formats with 1 set of cards? Yeah, that's what your cooldown is. You'll still have cooldowns. Okay. Question: is there any plans to move off of the Hive blockchain in the future? Galachain, Rodin? Neither of those. I mean, we are not absolutely wedded to Hive. I mean, we like Hive and currently think it's the best option. But I don't want to tell the players, I will die on this chain. We'll go where it makes the most sense for the game to go. I don't see anything immediate that makes me think, hey, we're going to move off. But So I wouldn't say that there's no plans to ever move, and I wouldn't say that there are active plans to move. We're sort of like hanging out here and seeing how things develop. Questions? Any news on the arcade projects? Yeah, I have some meetings with some musicians lined up to go see if they want to be our actual partner in promoting this. So it's progressing. It's still a little slow, but we're finding the right partners and nailing down details. So that's progressing. Question: I'm new to the game, joined last Wednesday, and so far I'm getting pretty good amounts of losses and few wins, but stayed around 40 and 88 ranking using the starter deck. Do you guys have any tips or know the best card sets to use to get more wins? Hopefully folks can go give Matt the Metal Devil some extra advice, but especially the new players, I would tell you pick up individual cards on the market and be laser focused on the ones that you want that are good in your league to help you rank up. And these guys can help. Breaking Benjamin it's some good advice here is go watch Bulldog. There's a whole bunch of streams that have been about this. Okay. Is Arcane worth watching if I've never played League of Legends? Yeah, it's a great series. I've enjoyed it. Question. Last weekend, we had an issue with the end of the tournament we threw. Final two, it seemed like the tournament froze up. Who would be the person to contact if this happens? Is it Weirdbeard? You can start with Weirdbeard.
Yeah, and we were aware of it. The dev team is aware that there's been like some funkiness back there to where brawls and other tournaments sometimes get hung up and just won't complete for whatever reason. So the dev team is aware of it. If you contact me at any time on Discord, I'll make sure that at least I'm also harassing the people that are in charge of flipping that switch.
And I'm being told I missed a question. What did I miss? What time was it at? What? 11:38. I missed a question. So far, can we have an option to reveal all common cards when opening packs? I don't know. I don't know what that means, but that's the kind of thing that you should put on to. Oh shoot! What is it? That's Splinterlands.com. Is a request? What is it?
Feedback.
Feedback.splinterlands.com. Thank you. Yeah, feedback.splinterlands.com. All right. Question for Sexy Nate and the rest of the streamers. What are you most excited about coming in the near future?
I would probably say I think the revamp to rank play is going to be pretty huge. Not just from a creative side, because we are working really hard on trying to create all the assets necessary to kind of make that come to life. I don't think, and the thing is, we haven't talked really at a granular level any of the details other than this high level. Hey guys, something's coming, something's happening, and so we haven't really talked in depth about it. And now's probably not the time, but I think that if we're talking near term, not long term, that's probably the thing that's happening pretty soon. That's going to probably have this tremendous ripple effect, not just with the immediate community and the player base, but attracting new players to the game as people get excited about what's happening and start talking about it. That'd probably be the thing for me.
I think it was 2 weeks ago that after the town hall that Hardpoint was on, we stayed in there after it closed down for like an extra 15, 20 minutes with Hardpoint talking. And I just remember him being like, you need to tell people that they want the changes to ranked rewards because it's going to be such a it's going to be a deal. Like that's just the easiest way to encapsulate it without talking about it is more than anything else, ranked rewards is going to be a whole thing. And so getting that out the door is going to be a whole, super cool thing.
I'm looking for where we left off. That was 11:38. Coming down. Question: what time? what time tomorrow would be the reset of the reward pool? The reward pool doesn't reset so much as it just keeps it's like every block there's another there's more tokens that go into the reward pool, so it doesn't like reset in the way that you're thinking. So maybe you can rephrase that question. Lauder is asking, any plan to release new skins for cards other than existing ones? The existing one was for the alpha beta, if I recall correctly. Probably a new one for newer cards will bring some excitement and increase demands for DC. If it's bringing too much burden to the creative team, perhaps can do some sort of contest where the community can join. Nate, would you like to give your common spiel for the challenges with skins?
Okay, so I wasn't I wasn't going to show anything more, but you know what? Maybe you guys are forcing. So per the last time this got brought up, and it gets brought up every few town halls, it's like skins. Let's add more skins. And I'm usually the one with the stop sign. Well, there's a lot of considerations that we made for UX and UI and game mechanics, and we can't just throw skins at the game. So I did. I promised that this was going to happen. I said, you know what? This is it. This is it. The line in the sand is made. I'm going to go back to the creative team, and we're going to figure this out. So we did, and we had an art team meeting where we discussed not just the conceptualization of what's our future style for the game going to be artistically wise, but what can we do about the skin thing? And for those of you who aren't familiar with the skin thing, no, it's not a sexy thing. It's a UX challenge. It's the fact that to introduce skins on a rapid strategy game, and that's a term that I've coined over the past few months as we have these internal discussions. Is like, we're a rapid strategy game, and as a rapid strategy game, it is extremely important. And maybe Weirdbeard could speak to this as well, especially on an esports level, since you only have this timer going down, and you only have so much time to evaluate the battlefield and see who's doing what, so that you can, respond. And that's going to be very important, whether it's creating a team or whether it is phase 2 when land is introduced and we were crafting items and spells, and you only have 30 seconds to hurriedly send out your item or your spell. You have to know what the heck you're looking at. If the battleground is filled with all these different skins and they're all different art styles and made by different people and all this stuff, you're like, what am I looking at? And now you're spending half your timer just trying to figure out who each person is on the battlefield. It's going to present a frustrating user experience. So this is what we're leaning towards. Not to say this is where we end up, but we are playing around with the idea, and I'll share this image with you. This is from Harless. Harless is one of our newer team members for art, and he's phenomenal. He's an absolutely amazing artist. But this is, I believe, Hill Giant. So Hill Giant, I'm going to share this artwork with you guys. I didn't mean to, but I'm going to. So this artwork represents a Hill Giant with all kinds of different pieces of armor, right? And if you see this Hill Giant on the battlefield, you're going to be like, oh, that's a Hill Giant. But if you see a Hill Giant that's skinned a little different with different tattoos or different armor or whatever, you're not thinking, what is that? You're thinking, oh, that's a Hill Giant. It just looks different. And no matter how many iterations we have and variations of Hill Giant, you're looking at the battlefield and you say, I know what that is. And you move on with your day. Except once in a while, because of the extra skin, which could be a result of winning a tournament, could be a result of an unlocked achievement. It could be something you buy with vouchers. It could be something, in some future form of gameplay. You get a new skin, you add it to your character, and it doesn't mess up the game mechanics. It doesn't mess up the user experience. And that's always been my kind of issue as we progress through. How do we tackle skins? The other thing that I want to do is we're working hard, really hard, to have a holistic, cohesive, consistent approach to not just world building in general, but artistically, stylization, the game's ecosystem. We want everything to feel immersive, and that goes hand in hand with making sure that everything matches Everything synergizes. Everything feels like it belongs. So I'm hesitant to just bring in somebody with a completely different art style and say, hey, make a bunch of skins and throw them in. It's a little jarring depending on how these skins are utilized in our current gameplay and future modes of gameplay. So this kind of solves a lot of issues if we go this route. I'm not saying that this is what we're going to do, but I'm saying that we're working hard to solve the skin problem and get out skins as fast as we can, because I keep hearing it over and over again. Internally, the community, everyone wants to see skins. We're making steps towards making that happen.
Yeah, and I will say from the esports side, like visual acuity is what they call it, and it's down to like if I'm playing Apex Legends, I need to know what character that I'm looking at, right? I need to know it's an Octane. I need to know that it's a Horizon or whoever it is, just by being able to look at them. Like a lot of people will bring up, well, is Splinterlands able to be competitive right now because of, like some people own more cards than others? I would say that if we were to add in skins that made it so that you didn't know what you were looking at, that's a bigger detriment than somebody just owning more cards or more resources than you.
Okay. Hoping that Fidel gets back to me in a second, but I am going to scroll back up. There are a bunch of questions here before. I forget where I was. I think I was at 1141. Yeah, that question. Any plan to release new skins? Question, when is Slapshot going to carry me in Rocket League? We'll see if that gets going here. What else? Question, why can't I use Chaos Legion reward cards in a tournament that you are permitted to use modern rule set? Because it's not fully set to modern and wild yet. The modern and wild won't be completed or like completely done until that gets released in the next coming months. Do you have any internal metrics for the value Waka brought or didn't bring? How do you evaluate the success for the future? The dashboards show no bump in accounts or really any bump in accounts or anything. Have you done a real review that doesn't include Cordy Warner Music, since that's separate from Splinterlands? Liam, any bump from Waka, or what do you think Waka did for us?
Yeah, we saw a whole bunch of traffic come to the site, and we saw some signups come in. There wasn't as big of a bump as I would hope for in terms of actual signups there, but we did see really good revenue on the backside there. So I'll try and crunch all those numbers and have a report back to everyone.
All right. Can somebody, Liam, can you get Fidel invited so he can come on air for a little bit? I'll go answer another question or two. Maybe we end up running a little bit late so we can go talk to Fidel, because he's doing a flex out here. Question, you've said summoners and monsters units will be needed to work land. Will modern and wild impact on which summoners or monsters? That's not decided yet. Let's have Fidel speak. Are you there?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
I can. Ron, are those levels okay for you? Ron's not ready to talk back. Okay. Well, let's go with this. Fidel, I'm stoked to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit who you are, how you're associated with us, and what your relationship is to one of the previous projects that we already started talking to, because NicoThePico was on air with us.
Yeah, I've been listening the whole time. I love it's early for me, so I'll just turn it on and throw it outside the shower and listen as you guys talk, and then jump back in later. Someone said earlier they were worried about or curious about the cards, and I guess my offer is, if you've made it 2 hours on this town hall and you're a new player and you're looking for some good cards, I'm happy to delegate some cards to you for free. I have a ton of cards in the game. As mentioned earlier, huge supporter of Splinterlands. I love playing the game myself. I'm an investor, in full disclosure. Like, I'm a general partner at Side Door Ventures, and we're invested not only in Splinterlands, but also, we've loaned Balthazar the $1 million worth of cards to open to make available for players. And then on a personal level, I also play and have my own card packs and my own cards and stuff as well. So if
and Homeboy's got a couple regions.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, he's a landowner.
I think we have land. I have a ton of cards. I'm proud to say, like, the only time I've ever sold anything in the game, and since the beginning, has been to buy more cards. So I think the only time I've ever sold any SPS or even vouchers has been to acquire more cards off the market. I've never taken anything out of the system. Like, my long-term goal here is, I'm a huge believer in Splinterlands. We plan on investing more and more and more into Splinterlands over the coming years, and we just want to be a good ecosystem partner. So to that end, like, if there's new players struggling, reach out. I'm happy to help. I know Chatter can help too, like direct me on who might need cards or whatever. But just happy to keep the ecosystem going and make everyone excited to play. And hopefully you guys love it as much as I do. And that's the whole plan.
So, you guys have some pretty big ambitions about getting thousands of people to play and be scholars for you and your group. Where do you think you're going to find them? What's the strategy there, and how are you going to, like, I guess some part of this is just logistically, how do you find 5,000 people? But then also, like, this, you didn't just like put money in and be like, this is my entertainment value. Like, how do you see the return coming? Where do you see how do you see how do you see this being like a profitable venture, like play to earn as a business? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think play to earn, like, I'll start by saying I believe I'm more of a crypto native than most VCs. I started mining Bitcoin in 2011 and sort of have been ride with the different aspects as blockchains evolved over the time. I've been the CEO of a blockchain company, so I have a ton of patents around different types of blockchain technology myself. I believe play to earn is the perfect mix of everything. It's fun. You have DeFi sort of elements to it. You have the NFT elements to it. Like, I think it's like the perfect amalgamation of all the trends that you see. And I think this year is going to be huge for GameFi. When we started investing in play to earn, I didn't just want to be a passive investor. It was really important for us that I wanted people, not just there's too many people taking from systems. What I wanted was to be really involved and be a real ecosystem partner. So if that means bringing in guilds to games, guilds that aren't going to just take advantage of games, I think that's important. If it means investing personally in these games, like outside of the fund, I'm also very personally invested into Splinterlands, financially and emotionally. I think that my view on play to earn is that the tides have changed. It is now here. Like, you guys are leading the pack. I think that there'll be a lot more games that come around, and I think anyone who's not thinking play to earn is missing the boat. I think the train's leaving, and everyone should jump on board. And to that end, I don't just want to invest though. Like, I think in terms of decades. So 10 years from now, where do we want to be? I want Sidedoor Ventures to have a strong play to earn esports team that's competing in multiple different games, not just for brand but for bragging rights. I want to own a ton of assets in all these different ecosystems. And yes, they may appreciate in value, but by letting the players play them or sharing them with guilds, you can do a rev share deal and make a ton of money off that. So I think it's the coolest opportunity for there to be a true win-win. Win for the players, win for the guilds, win for us as investors, win for the gaming ecosystem. I think everybody wins in this kind of environment as long as you're a good partner. And I think actions speak louder than words. And my hope is that over the coming years, people see that we're a very strong believer and probably one of the earliest adopters. I don't know any other funds that are like this active in play to earn other than just writing a check. Like, we are owning the assets, playing the assets, trying to help recruit players, building partnerships and commercial agreements. Like, we are very involved in as much as we can be to try and help all of our investments and all the games that we like.
Yeah, awesome. And I think so much of this is around like good decision making, right? And like, I don't know how you make good decisions without doing exactly what you're describing, of like sitting with the guys, seeing if they like it, does it make sense? And there's a lot of games that talk about play to earn that really just feel like grind to earn or click to earn. And like, I don't know how sustainable those things are going to be. We had another guild on here last week that was Nifty Arcade that was like glowing with enthusiasm for us and screaming at the top of their lungs, this is the best game in play to earn. And not the best economy. And I don't know what he felt about the community. He seemed to be pretty fond of all of us, but he was screaming at the top of his lungs, this is the best game in play to earn. And I just feel like, our focus around designing for economy, designing for community, and designing for gameplay, and like the number one rule of designing for gameplay is it has to be fun. And that
I think that resonates. Like everybody, when we were looking at investing in the game, the one thing that we were most excited about was that you had a real community of real people playing this game, not prospecting. Like people were playing because they loved it. I think that is the ultimate like success. And so if you have that, the rest comes. I think all the other games that people prospect on, they might have short-lived lives, like they'll quickly switch to a different game, or those players will go to wherever the economics are better. I think if you have a real game that people really enjoy, the money is the perk. The real win is playing a game you like. And I think that's awesome.
Some of that comes from I don't know how dark this thought is, but it's something like, once you have enough food, you have shelter, and you have some electricity and maybe an internet connection. Once you have those four basic things, like all that's left is entertainment, right? All you want, like the money that we want is basically just so that we can entertain ourselves. To me, entertainment is like the most valuable commodity in the world. Otherwise, we're just sitting around waiting to die. So like if we can provide a good, fun game and have something that's like a place where you can earn and a place where you can get like income for renting your properties and managing that, like that to me is kind of the dream. That hits so many different buckets and so many different goals. And so, sometimes players will yell at us and be like, the price of SBS is down. And we're just like, zoom out, bro. Like the whole market's
I'm like,
down.
Great. I'm accumulating. Like I think I buy every day. Like I am so bullish, and like I don't really. This is a good time for me. Like it does not. You're right. Zoom out. Like that does not. I have not spent 1 ounce of worry on that at all.
Yeah,
I mean, Matt, even as a professional investor.
Me personally, I'm like, I think Matt, the co-founder Matt Rosen, or Matt, is like literally one of the biggest geniuses in the entire space. And I think I'm not too shabby, but man, Matt is an incredibly intelligent guy. And his focus around all these kind of DeFi projects and everything that's in the space and kind of picking out the best little bits that are here and there. I mean, this is kind of like, being the crypto native, like your sentiment about being here. There's no way that any one person can go get all of this information and make all these decisions and know that they're going to be awesome if you're not like paying attention to everything that's in this space. And Matt does a really good job of that. So when we're designing things, it's not just like, what do Matt and I think up off the top of our heads? It's more like, what can we draw from this entire ecosystem? How do we think through like the smartest innovations? And then the question is, how do we take that innovation and figure out a way for it to fit and feature inside of our game? And I think Matt's especially good at that. So when I look at like, oh no, prices are down today, and like, a couple months from now, I'll be like, oh wow, prices are up today. Prices will do, markets will market, but like, our focus is to go create the coolest freaking game that we can to make our community as excited about our project and to love playing and to love hanging out with each other, and to have an economy that works from the smallest minnow to the biggest whale and find ways that everybody can participate. And you don't track that by the minute, you track that by the quarter, and hopefully within at some point markets turn around and we'll be like, holy crap, we're still the number one game and we have this like crazy economy that's spinning up. So I'm excited for all the different pieces that are here.
Me too. Thanks for having me. I got to jump off, but
do
it's
the
been really
thing.
awesome being with you guys for the last 2 hours. So
yeah, Thanks, Fidel.
Thanks,
Good to
Fidel.
see you.
All right,
Bye.
cheers.
All right, so I missed a couple questions, and now we're a little bit over time. We're going to try to get into these questions, but I think we're going to have to do it later. So, reality, maybe you can scoop up some of the questions that were asked and put them on the list for next time. I think we're going to close up now because I don't want to keep people past like meeting starts and things like that. So, I don't know. Weird Beer and Chatter and Nate, why don't you give us a thought to close out on, and Bulldog too, if you'd like to as well.
I'll go first. The last thing I want to close out on is please make note. We have not only the community gaming tournament that's happening this weekend, but we have brand new tournaments that have never been done before, including a gold foil noob tournament. So if you've always been in the Discord complaining that you don't have enough power to be able to get into the gold foil tournaments, come hang out, try out the gold foil noob tournament, and see if that's a thing that you want to be able to enter into more often. Thank you. I love you.
I would say for my part, it's kind of like what Fidel and Agro just said. Zoom out. Don't worry. The market is kind of sucky right now. Alt taking a hit, all that stuff. But I mean, a lot of us have been around long enough to know, okay, everything's on sale right now. You don't complain about everything being on sale, whether it's cards or SPS or whatever. Not financial advice, but this is great. All the stars are in alignment. We see the promised land. We don't see any reason why we can't get to the promised land. Everything's on track. Everything's doing great. It's a good time. It may not feel like it all the time, but if you take a step back, look at the big picture, and you look at things and you're like, oh wow, this is really cool. So take advantage for those of you who are able to do so.
Yeah, and from my side, I mean, Nate, well said, and definitely reiterating Weird Beard's point there. But other things too, if you guys are in San Fran or LA next week and the week after that, we're going to be at GDC and NFT LA. If you guys are around, please feel free to send me a DM. Would love to grab a coffee with you guys. Otherwise, Stream Team is coming up pretty soon. Splinterlands TV, I saw the first test streams go live this week. I believe it's going to be kicking off pretty soon. So look for a notification in the official announcements channel from Rondon.
Awesome. Well, guys, hopefully you're hearing that we have a ton going on. I'm going to try to get you as much information and update the community about timelines and roadmaps and what we're doing, and give you guys a holistic picture of all the different pieces from all the different teams, all the different stuff. It's not trivial. This is a giant monster, and we're growing it the best we can, trying to level up as an org and get as many cool new features and partners out there as we can. And I'm really excited, as we work with other big organizations. There's lots of promising things that are happening, and some of which we can talk about, some of which we can't. But there's exciting stuff that's on this horizon. And if you're listening, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for participating. And if you have questions, please be sure to get those to the town hall chat for next week. And just generally, I want you guys to know that I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve in this role, that spreading peace, prosperity, and freedom, and introducing people to cryptocurrencies is a dream gig, and doing it in a way that I try to help this team build as much of a cool game and now games as possible. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity. Thank you for being part of our ecosystem, and I can't wait to see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
And make sure you guys stick around on Twitch right here after the town hall. I'm streaming a bronze chaos only tournament and a silver chaos only tournament at 12:30 and 2 o'clock.
Let's do it.